what I really want, the business and agency to do is to really help a lot more of female founders, right? Our focus definitely in the female-led space. And in order for us to really help more of these amazing founders with their ideas, with their aspiring businesses, I would love to get more connected towards different accelerator programs, right?
Welcome back to Fearless Narrative, a show that's all about the incredible stories of women who are changing the game, breaking the rules, and pushing through the boundaries to face their fears head on because they are fearless entrepreneurs and creatives, and we love to see it. I am your host, Courtlyn Jones, and on our show, we go into a deep dive into captivating storytelling and engaging conversations with these incredible women as they share how they are pursuing their passions and shattering glass ceilings along the way. We love that so much. It's so inspiring and so empowering to share these stories with you. And hopefully it will empower you to embrace your own fearless path. Our show is all about feeling the fear and doing it anyway, as well as women supporting women. We love that. We need more of that always. So before we get started, don't forget to hit the button to subscribe to our show. We also would love a nice 5-star review at the end. Without further ado, let's go into a new episode right now. Enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome back to Fearless Narratives. I am your host, Courtlyn Jones, and today we have the pleasure of introducing you to a dynamic visionary who is leaving her mark on the web design landscape while championing the empowerment of women. Joining us is Ari K, the trailblazing CEO and head of strategy at Chykalophia, a woman minority-owned web agency. Ari's journey is an embodiment of transformative impact. Through Chykalophia, she harnesses the power of web design to help Femtech, DTC, and women-led brands elevate their digital platforms into engines of business growth. As a co-author of the top 3 bestsellers book in web design, Made to Sell, Creating Websites That Convert, she's a leading voice in crafting compelling online experiences. Hi, Ari, how are you?
Hey, Courtlyn, I am good. Thank you so much for having me here today.
My pleasure. So your journey from CEO to mentor is inspiring and multifaceted. Can you share the moments that led you to harness web design for empowering women-led businesses and nurturing the next generation of female entrepreneurs?
Ooh, I feel like that's quite a tough question. I feel like, over the time, right, I didn't really have the insights and even the confidence to just fully understand, like, how can I bring value to others, right? I knew that I have this like amazing skills around like, branding, UX, web design, all this different stuff. And I felt like I didn't know how to really deliver those values until I have my mentors and also I'm surrounded by a lot of other women founders and entrepreneurs who really can guide me towards like, how do I position myself when it comes to like providing those values? What I would say, to answer your question here is that I felt like a lot of it has to do with mindset. I feel like when you think that, oh, other people also are doing the same thing as me, but take a look at your, inner abilities and also like your own uniqueness, because I know all of us have it. Mm-hmm. And I personally hate that question. Like, what is your uniqueness? Like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like, it feels like it's like a soul searching question, but really, if you know what you're really good at and people keep telling you like, you're really good at X, Y, and Z, that is value to others. So when I really finally realized, yes, I do have value, and positioning myself as an agency who can really help other women and women business owners or even entrepreneurs and founders to really transform their website into a platform for growth. And that's where I realized that this is it. That's how I bring value. That's how I really, translate their ideas into something more tangible that they can take and, help grow their business.
I love that. So let's go back a tad further and ask you about who were you prior to being an entrepreneur, and how did you get into, being this whole entrepreneurial CEO that you currently are now, and what led you to like this whole entire journey?
I did not even know that this realm exists.
Right? Yeah, me either. feel that.
I feel like, growing up, I grew up in Bali. I was born and raised there. And the mentality is that, you get your education, you graduate, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, and the end. I don't know, right? I mean, I didn't know that there are other opportunities, other, alternatives towards like having a job. I didn't know like freelancing was a thing until my husband, back then he was my fiance, that he opened up this world to me. And I realized that, oh my gosh, I have options. That's crazy. So when I realized there are other ways for me to, build my career and also, find clients and even like create my own opportunities, that's when things change, where I can really see like what I can really do with my own skills and seeing the different type of projects that I could also get involved in. It just really got me excited. And I think the moment when I realized that I want to explore this and I want to take some risks because I know my heart is telling me to just try it out. And well, I feel like if you stumble upon entrepreneurship when you are in your 20s or even in your early 30s, right? That is the time to just like test the heck out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Because you will find such joy just trying to experience like, oh, how do I navigate this? How do I learn more about this? Because you're wearing so many different hats. And to a degree, I feel like that's where it gets so exciting because you learn so much. You get overwhelmed a lot, but you get to figure out like, what am I really good at? Right. And really trying to challenge yourself. Can I do this? Can I, maybe ask somebody else to either help me with it or outsource it. So you're getting even like smarter. And in a way, it's just become such a unique experience for yourself trying to figure out how to position yourself, again, like bringing that value to the people that will be able to, gain help from you and really, help collaborate together as well.
Definitely. So your company, Chykalophia, transforms websites into growth platforms. Had you infused your design strategies with business acumen to create experiences that drive tangible results for your clients?
Yes. I believe, when it comes to like different strategies, especially when it comes to the web and user experience or even branding in general, or perhaps you will classify as marketing in the big umbrella, right? Everything relies on the strategy piece of it. And what comes down is really how well do you really know your own brand, your own business, as well as your own target customer. And the biggest, mistakes that I keep seeing over and over again when it comes to like trying to figure out like, hey, why my marketing doesn't work, why my website doesn't work, or, in general, like, why are we having such a hard time retaining maybe customers? It's all, within the clarity that you maybe haven't really gotten from understanding your own brand. So going through a session for a brand strategy is super helpful, just so that at least you can have a foundation of what it is that your brand really is supposed to be, right? What is the core of your brand? And when I'm talking about the core of the brand, it's not really about the visual and the pretty things. Yes, that's, of course, it's part of it. But really, who is your target audience and what do you stand for? And what are you against? And I feel like these are some of the different things you want to really know about your brand so that you can build the connection you need with your target audience. We don't get attracted to brands that, trying to be everything, right? We attracted to brand that is very specific towards something. Perhaps it, really up against, I would say, sorry, not up against, but maybe really big on sustainability, or maybe they're like super big and like making sure that moms got empowered or something. So it really have to be something specific. Otherwise, you're just like everybody else, right? It's really hard to differentiate you within the seas of enormous amount of different startups or like competitors and stuff like that. So when you have the clarity about like who it is that you're trying to attract, as well as like who it is that this brand is supposed to be, right? And the core values, that what sets you apart. And that's how you can really build the connection that you need in order to start building, a great amount of ambassadors for your brand, or even like the loyal customers that you long for.
A great answer. So speaking of connection, your involvement in top tier incubators is also inspiring. So how do you approach supporting female entrepreneurs through platforms like 1871 Chicago and Matter? And what outcomes do you hope to achieve?
Wow. Mentorship is
Mm-hmm.
definitely the key, in my opinion. I know some people feel like, yeah, women got over mentored and things like that. But hey, if you're coming from like a third world country like myself, mentorship doesn't exist
Yeah.
technically, right? And I felt like as soon as I got the taste of like mentorship and stuff like that, I just feel so grateful for, those women who came before me and also like lending their time and really help guiding me along the way. Without that, I don't think that I'll be where I am today, because literally they're telling me all the mistakes that they did, right? They're telling me the shortcut essentially. You may be not taking their suggestion, maybe because you just wanted to try it like I did. I was like, I know I shouldn't be doing that. But it's just to prove that mentorship has great value in it, because they really are trying to give you the shortcut that you need so that you don't make the same mistakes like they did, right? And even to this day, when I'm mentoring other female founders to do the incubators that you mentioned earlier, whether it's on Team 71 or Matter or Femtech Lab, I'm telling them things that they should be avoiding, right? They shouldn't be doing. And it's like, so you can get to the actual result faster, you can grow faster. And that is the key in it. And on top of that, too, mentorship really gives you the opportunity to get access towards my network as well, right? Who do you want to meet? Who do you want to connect to? I'm happy to make this introduction because I also want to see them grow and get to the success that they want for.
You're also a co-author of the top 3 bestsellers book in web design, Made to Sell, creating websites that convert. Can you share an example of a website transformation where your design principles elevated a brand's conversion rates and overall impact?
Yes. I feel like when it comes to web design, there are so many different resources out there, right? For me, it comes down to the 5 questions that you want to ask yourself as the brand or as the business, having the website that maybe you already have up or maybe you're planning for it. So what are those 5 different things? Number 1, are you telling your user what your website is all about? Right? I mean, sometimes you'll go to a website and then you ask yourself, like, what is this website all about? Like, what is it? And it pains me to see websites like that because, oh my gosh, you're wasting like this like crucial moment for a user to just really quickly understand, like, what are you all about? What are you offering? Or, what products do you have? Right? So number 1, definitely answer that question. What is the website all about? If you're offering products, then make sure that you highlight your product up and center, right? Or if you're offering services, really define like what are you delivering? What is the metric maybe, or what is the result that you are typically giving for such particular service? So that's number 1. And then number 2, like, how does it work? Sometimes we're like, yes, we understand what e-commerce is all about, but hey, maybe you have slightly different process that I didn't know. So tell them, what are some of the process that you typically have for either your service or your product? Maybe your membership works slightly different way, right? Yes, we are trying to make sure that everything that we have on the website, the content itself, is really easy to understand and people can really move along with it, because you really just want to provide as much information so that they can get to the click, to the button that they want to click, right? And also making the conversion you want them to do. So that's number 2. Now, number 3, like, why does it matter, right? Are you talking to the right customers? Which I hope you are. Now, even if you're not talking to the right customers, if you're really having the right messaging on your website, they will know who within their maybe circle of friends or maybe their network that could use your service or maybe, purchase your product, right? So having a clear information in terms of like, who is this particular product or services for is going to be critical, not just for direct customers that you're aiming for, but also the people that are within their network. So let's, for example, say I go to one of the websites that maybe offer shaving cream, right? My husband could need that. I'm not necessarily going to buy it, but I can pass it over to him. It's like, hey, check out this particular website, offers really cool shaving cream. So think about it that way, right? It has to be very specific, and you have to create, communication as well as copywriting that will be very clear for your target audience. Now, the 4th item is trust. Building trust can be really easy on your website. You maybe already have some of these information, for example, like reviews, or even let's say you have different certification, or maybe you have like endorsement from some famous people. you can really leverage a lot of these on your website, very easy and very simple, right? And you're building trust immediately. Now, if you're part of like maybe bigger corporation or maybe even bigger organization, you could even use that particular logos on your website and then say that, hey, we are associated with these different organizations. So that immediately builds trust as well. And don't forget your press. If you are featured on bigger publication or maybe like local newsletter and something like that as well, or maybe even in the news, right? Make sure you add that in because that also builds up the reputation and, credibility for your users. Now, the last one, the fifth one, after all of those items, right, you get the what is the website is all about, check, and then how it works, what does it matter, as well as the building trust. It's all checked off. What's the call to action? Make sure that your call to action is very simple and very clear for people to do, right? I know sometimes we'll see this like very fun and catchy or funky even, call to action. To a degree, sure, it works, but I want it to be more actionable. What do you want your user to do? For example, sign up now or book now, right? Or purchase today or something like that. So it needs to be very actionable so that people can understand what do you want them to do directly on your website.
That was an amazing answer. And I'm really impressed how you did all 5 of those without like losing track at all. You just like had them ready and you were ready to go. That was really impressive. Okay. So as a designer, I feel like I would be a little concerned about the design of my website versus like the information that's on it. And I think I'm always in a space where I want to be sure that what I am putting on the site is attractive looking. But has there ever been a time when a client and you or whatever have like an issue making sure that it looks nice, but the right information is being portrayed in the right spaces and enough of it?
Yes. So when it comes to the process of web design specifically, right, we have our own process that I have honestly developed over the past 12 years through a lot of trial and errors. And I felt like we finally kind of nailing it down. I mean, there are some areas we can improve on, but the process is rather simple. After going through strategy session, we really try to capture like, okay, what are some of the things that you don't like on a website? So we'll ask our clients like some of the, maybe website that you truly like, but you also don't like at the same time. What are some of those, pain points that you're seeing? And then also like areas that you feel like, oh, this would be really cool for our website. But how would you envision that to work on your website, right? So we're getting really into a deep brainstorming session, trying to figure out like what would work for them as well as what would work for the brand, right? Because when it comes to a business, sometimes our own opinion can really influence, okay, what would the end product going to look like? Mm-hmm. So everything has to be tied back to the customer's need as well as the business need and a little bit like your preference specifically as the founder. So when we have that down, we also create some sort of like a mood board, right? If you are familiar with Chris Do from the future, he has this methodology called stylescapes, where you really combine a specific visual together so that you can create like a mood board that really encompasses the brand, as well as like some of the styling for the brand for maybe collateral pieces or the website pieces. For us, the way we use it specifically is on the website portion. So how will be, how would the headline going to look like? Or how will the hero image going to look like in general? If we have a promotional items, for example, like the signed up box and stuff like that, right? Or a banner, how would that going to look like? So we kind of put something together so that we can get on the same page with the client. Like, is this along the lines of the visual and the look and feel that you're trying to achieve for the website? And if it yes, then we move forward with the wireframe as well as like reskin it with the design, right? So that's what I feel has been really helpful for us and also the client to get on the same page right away, rather than like getting through like millions of revisions, like, oh, this doesn't seem right, this font doesn't look right, this image doesn't really look good. All of those get answered before we get even to the wireframe stage.
It's amazing. I couldn't find a team that actually could give me what I wanted for my design needs, like for my site. Yeah. They wanted it to be uglier than I wanted it to look. So I was really more concerned with the look and feel of it as opposed to just
Yeah.
the right info on it, which is probably not the best way to go about things. But as a creative, I kind of have that like, problem with my head. But
Yeah.
I ended up having my site built myself because I couldn't find the right team to help me compromise on the like aesthetic as well as the right information. So that's amazing for you to have that as your one of your main points of your company.
I hear that a lot, actually, Courtlyn, and
Do
you're
you?
not the only one. Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
good.
I have a couple clients come to me because like the previous designer didn't work. So I'm just trying to understand like what was their process. And when it comes down to process, right? I know this is gonna sound like very braggy, but I'm just super proud of me and my team because we are nailing it right ahead, right? So it's just like it comes down. What I'm gonna say here is that it comes down to the strategy and alignment of your vision. If you, as the creative, knows exactly what the founder or the entrepreneur is seeing in their head, right? You get it, and you're able to deliver that. So, well, hopefully, next time around, I can help you with that.
Yeah. Okay, so changing gears a little bit. As a co-host of the Halo Femtech Podcast, you spotlight women's health disruptors. How does the podcast play a role in fostering change and recognition in the film tech space?
Yes, Halo Femtech is a dear project of mine. It's a super passion that I have when, a pandemic happened, a couple of years back, right? I mean, all of us obviously get impacted, but for me specifically, on top of that, I was going through a moment in my life with my family trying to, well, get pregnant again for a second child. And it wasn't successful. And unfortunately, I had to go through like ectopic pregnancy and miscarriage in the same year. I felt that was really hard on me because I wasn't sure if I'm lacking information or do I not know, support within this particular realm of, female health and wellness technology piece until I found Femtech. So that really helped me not just gaining more confidence for me and just figuring out what's next for me personally, but also like giving me more knowledge around how do I take care of me as a woman, right? Sure, I take care of my husband when he's sick and even my son as well when he's sick and he's growing, but I feel like I don't have enough information to understand my body. So the femtech space has been really great resource for me personally, and I get so excited with the innovation that happens within this space and the consumer technology that keeps popping up. So with that, I just honestly feel like I want to be in it, and I want to help like these companies really like help them create their vision and also help them in their web stuff. I just honestly feel like through the podcast, it helped me get to know a lot of the amazing disruptors in the space, but also at the same time sharing these knowledge so that other, future or even aspiring femtech founders can also learn from the successful, founders that are already, getting towards their seed funding or even like Series A funding and maybe able to continue that growth forward.
Incredible. I'm also really sorry for all that you've gone through. That's a lot, and I'm proud of you for pushing through it, but I can't imagine it. I'm so sorry. Uplifting women in tech and design is a passion. Can you elaborate on how mentorship and guidance contribute to breaking barriers and fostering success for aspiring female professionals?
You know how a lot of the time we wish that we have our own boys club, right?
Yes.
And I feel like, this is also true, and I experience myself too. Sometimes when you say that, hey, yes, I'm supporting women, that kind of stuff, and you hear others saying the same thing, but their action doesn't really align with what they're saying. Yeah. And it hurts. It really hurts because I went through that as well. And I felt like, I mean, come on, we're not in high school anymore. Why are we doing that? So I just really feel that through mentorship and also just like collaborating with others who truly want to see each other succeed, right? I mean, like you're happy when other competitors who also own founders, scaling their business as well. Like it's just to prove that you are not only collaborative, but also super supportive and you embrace innovation together. I was at an event a couple of weeks ago in Vegas, and this really cool old Asian guy who run a successful PR companies is telling me like how he collaborate with his competitors and just like challenging each other. It's like, hey, I got this contract from X, Y, and Z company. Now it's your turn to do, the other bid for the other bigger company. So it just feels like I want to be that guy when I grow up later, right? To be the person that can also embody competitiveness in a healthy way, and also just like being truly supportive with each other. So that's what I'm hoping for going forward. And I think through mentorship and just like collaborating with each other like this, right? Even through the podcast or any other means, it's just so crucial for us.
I love that. And I think that you and I are also a part of two of the same, I think, community groups for female founders. I think it's the entrepreneurs and also gamers and doers.
Yes.
I joined that recently. So I'm like, I definitely feel like it has helped me. It has like helped me feel more connected amongst, our community, and as well as like feeling much less alone, because entrepreneurship is really lonely. We all know that it's really tough and it's lonely, and having that kind of like connection, I think is more valuable than I can even explain it,
Yeah. If I can add one thing to this, sometimes we would look at maybe other business owners, right? And see like, oh, they got to that success. Like, why haven't I gotten there? I feel like what will bring me back is that I look at my own list of things that I want to hit and then stop comparing myself, because I know it's just so easy for us like, oh, I'm not there yet, but everybody has their own journey, right? I keep just like reminding myself like I'm on my own timeline, I'm on my own journey, and this is what success looks like. I mean, it looks like for me, right? I think if we don't have that as just like something that really ground us, you can easily lose track and just, focusing on more of your competitors rather than focusing on your business and, scaling it up.
Definitely. Okay, so design for anything, but also for web, is constantly evolving. How do you stay ahead of trends and changes to ensure your design strategies remain cutting edge and effective?
Oh, yes, definitely. A lot of reading. I signed up for like a lot of news on Medium, as well as going to like conferences and stuff like that, especially for design conferences, right? I felt like, things just progressing so much, so fast. And even now with the AI and things like that, how do you leverage AI in your design process? It just got very tricky. But I feel that a lot of these tools are going to be additional tools that you can certainly leverage, right? Not just for your process, but also for your clients as well, to really win either their target audience or even maybe like growing their business. I think there's going to be a smarter way for us to just really think through how do we use the trends that happening, or even like the up and coming tools that are really exciting in the space, and then combining it with your own process and see where it fits best. I do feel that sometimes I also feel like, okay, I feel like I'm kind of behind the trends, like what is up and coming. So I tend to just like hang out with my other friends who already maybe ahead of that particular trend, just ask them, okay, how do you find that particular trend maybe useful for your business or even for your own clients? How do you use it? Maybe learning about the case studies. That's how I typically learn.
So because I heard AI in your answer, I'm curious to know from you, do you feel that AI is more of a tool for you, or is it more of a threat? Because that's been a common like topic for us among creatives, to know that like is AI going to replace us? I don't think it will, but I feel like it's obviously trying to. But I'm just curious to know your point of view, what you feel about AI.
I think of AI as a collaboration buddy, to be honest with you.
I agree.
Because again, it is yet another set of tools that you can truly leverage, right? To the max, to be honest. But because there's not enough regulation in it yet, I'm a little bit hesitant in terms of like using, for example, Midjourney for a lot of our clients' work and stuff like that. So on some cases, we tested a few different, assets like the illustration and even the custom stock photography using Midjourney, and then using ChatGPT for testing different content and stuff like that. But I do feel that right now we're just trying to get I guess accustomed to it first. And then once the regulation come in, we can really figure out and see like what makes sense for us to deliver to the client, or should we just do everything for internal purposes only? But to answer your question, yeah, it is a collaboration buddy, in my opinion. If you really see it that way, that's the best way to leverage the tool, because I feel like us creative, we have the brain power in our mind, right? We have the skill that truly embodies who we are as a photographer, who we are as a writer, or even as designers. None of those tools can really do it the way you want it to do. So yeah, just think of it this way.
Yeah, that's feel like that's healthier too, because I feel like some of us are seeing it as a threat because of how much it's like how evolved it is, but also in a sense to meet, because there's no soul behind it, because we all have to like help it to do things we need to it's still it's a tool because we have to help it do things, and on its own it can't do it the expression and the feelings behind it's not there without us. So it is a collaboration tool. I hope that no one else really like sees it as a real threat to us, because I mean there's no passion behind it, there's no soul behind it, and art and design is really all about passion and emotions.
I agree.
So okay, the blend of branding, UX, and strategy is potent. Can you share how this trifecta contributes to crafting online experiences for brands and users alike?
I would say, the trifecta you mentioned earlier, right? It's connected. And a lot of time people would say like, oh yeah, you can just easily whip up a web design, using any templates and then call it a day. Of course you can. But does it really truly embody your business? And does it, can you guarantee that it will create some sort of like conversion, right? We don't know that. So I felt like a lot of time people really underestimating how much work goes into a website that can truly, deliver value back for you and your business. So everything again stems from strategy, and also don't forget how your branding and your user experience need to be combined together before everything get displayed on a web pages, right? So I felt like when you have a really clear idea in terms of like how you would want to connect with your target audience, and then what kind of, experiences do you want to deliver to them, that's where it gets so exciting, because you can figure out, okay, how do we connect like this particular information with the next steps that they're going to take, and then making sure things are interconnected, right? What is the goal of them going to a page A versus going to page Z, for example, right? What are the differences, and what experiences are they going to experience on both of those pages? Is the experience going to be the same, or are they going to be different? What are the needs that they are going to have for visiting those pages? So I think a lot of time we don't really think about like, overarching needs of the user, and then creating the experiences based on that need. And then just like simply, okay, here's the content, here's the layout, and then call it a day. It was like, no, there's so much more than that. You haven't really, dig deeper in terms of like how you can delight the customers, right? How can you really touch on their consideration when you visit a certain page? So for example, let's see that a user goes to a website where they want to buy toys for their dog, right? They're not going to go to a website that only displays cat dog toys. And then that exactly. And I feel like it just, number one, it needs to be relevant. There's that, right? And it also needs to be exciting. If a lot of them, most of the users, let's say that a lot of them actually have big dogs, and you're only displaying like small dogs, well, they're gonna go away because it's not relevant for them. But if you really, knowing your target audience and have very specific offering for them, it's going to make it so easy for them to just like stay on the page, go through all the information that you provide for them, and make the decision immediately.
That was really helpful. I personally have had noticed that my podcast website that I launched it recently, but I've been noticing that like there's been a bounce rate where like not everyone is like going through all the pages or going through like more than only one page. And I want my audience to like move through the site to like see other parts of it, but I'm having this like struggle of figuring out what I'm missing, like what I have to do to get them to like stop bouncing off of the page and like going to, explore through my full site.
Yeah.
So your journey involved advocating for both established brands and emerging talent. How do you find balance in your role as a thought leader, strategist, and mentor?
That's hard. I'm just going to tell you that is hard.
That's honest. I like that.
Because I mean, to be honest, right? Sometimes it's so hard to juggle everything. And you want to also experience your own life too. You want to have your own social life, like party or whatever, connecting with friends and stuff. And for me, I think it comes down to making sure that I'm okay letting things go. So for example, let's say I have 3 things that I want to hit throughout the day, right? And at the end of the day, I only accomplished one. It's like, well, okay, I guess there's going to be tomorrow. So I think in a way, you just really need to prioritize like what is important for you to tackle on that day, right? Or even on that week or on that month, and making sure that you can really account for your own time. If let's say that you have your top 3, the first one on your list definitely needs to get done. And at least in a way you feel like, okay, I accomplished something. And that's what I do. I would just like, I feel like I tend to feel, yeah, I can tackle like 10 things to do. It's like, no, realistically, how many can you really do? So I'll just put 3, and then I will make sure that the first one is something that I really, really need to do. And then the other 2 that can wait for tomorrow, or maybe I need to kind of shift things around in case maybe I need to take my son, somewhere else, or maybe I got sick or something like that, right? It just really helped us having more peace of mind, right? In terms of like letting things go that you were okay with it, because honestly, we can't do everything all the time, all at once. So having the feeling that, yes, I feel accomplished, but I'm also okay being flexible and letting things go or moving it, rescheduling it somehow, that is very big for me.
Love that. So bonus question. When was the last time that you felt fearless? A time when you were afraid, but you did it anyway? And then how did it turn out?
Oh,
Think deep.
This is deep. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm afraid of heights, right? And this is a while back, and somebody challenged me to do the indoor skydiving, right?
God.
Where you just like float and then just like, what? That was really crazy, but I did it anyway, mainly because I knew I'm probably gonna be okay, even though, it's like, it's something new. Like, I've never done this before. What if I fall and I, face plant into the ground and stuff? But I felt like, hey, you might as well just try it and see what happens, right? I think to a degree, the indoor, setting was very helpful for me to just kind of like, okay, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be okay. And the other part of me just like, this is something new. I know you've never done this before. And I know you're like really scared of height, but I think it's going to be fun. So I ended up doing anyway, because I felt like this is going to be okay. This is going to be exciting. And on top of that too, I was actually going to that particular event with other women entrepreneurs. So it just feels like you're in the right company, and everybody is advocating for you as well. It's like, you can do this. And when you have that confidence, you just feel like, yes, of course I can do it. If they can do it, of course I can do it too. So I just did it. And that was fun, actually.
Yay!
Really fun.
That's exciting. Okay, so is there a fearless moment for you in the sense for your business side of things? Like, was there ever a time when you felt the fear of doing something for your company that it could have been a risk and you did it anyway?
Yes, I don't think I share this too much with everybody that I know or even in my network. But I, for a long time, really scared of being a CEO. So for the past, I would say about 11 or so years, I asked my husband, who's my business partner, to be the CEO. Because like, I don't want to take that responsibility. It was like, it's too big of a responsibility to me. And it's like, okay, but I remember one day you're going to have to take over. And I was like, I hope not. but but last year happened, and I went through an accelerator program through Goldman Sachs, the 10,000 business owner or small business. And that really changed the way I see the business. I felt like I finally got the learning that I needed in terms of like, how can I take the business to the next level, what the exit plan is going to be, and all those different, I guess like business knowledge that I didn't have because I didn't go to an MBA program, right? Mm-hmm. So getting all of those knowledge has given me the confidence that I need in order to really take that role back from my husband and demote him. Of course not. But it's just like, I finally feel, yes. And I finally feel that, okay, it's not too scary, right? It's something that you just need to step into, and knowing that even though you may not know how well you're going to be in that position, or even like anything else in life that maybe kind of scares you. But if you just really believe in yourself and deep down, yes, I know I can do it, and try it out, I think it will be the best decision ever. So, yes.
I love that. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So looking ahead, what aspirations do you hold for Chykalopia's impact on web design and brand empowerment? And how do you see your role evolving as a mentor and advocate for women in the tech and design industries?
So going forward, what I really want, the business and agency to do is to really help a lot more of female founders, right? Our focus definitely in the female-led space. And in order for us to really help more of these amazing founders with their ideas, with their aspiring businesses, I would love to get more connected towards different accelerator programs, right? Right now, we are in a couple of them here in Chicago, but I would love to go national. I think that's definitely one of the big goals that we want to hit. And eventually in the next 15 years, I hope to sell the business. And that is my exit strategy. So once we really nurture our team, as well as, cleaning up a lot of our processes, tightening up everything in the business and having it ready for sale, that is yet another big goal that I do want to hit in the future. Right. But for now, I really just want to expand our reach and also get connected with more women founders so that we can also help them get to the business, ideas that they have, translating that into real tangible, items for the business and helping them to really grow.
So exciting. I'm so happy to see how it's all going to play out for you.
Thank you.
And lastly, how can our audience find you?
Oh, I'm pretty much everywhere. So I typically hang out on LinkedIn, so you can find me there. I'm also on Instagram, but not as much yet. You can find me there, or you can also find me on my website at chykalophia.com. Or honestly, you know what? Let's do a short one, chklph.com.
Okay. Thank you for joining me today, Ari. You have been so delightful and so inspirational, and I'm happy to talk to you today.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. And that is a wrap. Fearless Narratives airs every Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. Thank you for joining us today. You have been an amazing audience, and we really love your support. So we also would love for you to give us a nice 5-star review. And until next time, stay fearless.